Okay, I'm gonna say it. Color charts don't work. Why? Because they make kids shut down. They publicly shame kids in front of their peers. Kids go home telling families about the other kids in school who are on red, and everyone knows who those kids are. They are super ineffective. The good kids are always on blue, and there's always a few bad kids who always get put on red, or whatever the bad color is. They do nothing to change a child's behavior. No child ever says, "The teacher put my card on red. I'm going to start behaving now." If you've ever used the system, you know this. It makes kids mad, frustrated, and they are more likely to misbehave, even more because they feel unsuccessful. I could go on and on. Just reflect for a second. How do your kids react when you change their color? Do they change their behavior for the better? Do all kids get to be on top and bottom? Or is it just the same kids doing the same things every day? Can you predict who's going to be on what color every day, or is each day different? Does the system really help you manage tough behaviors, or does it make kids shut down? Are you seeing positive changes in the way children act and feel because of the color system? What if I told you I have a much better system that will actually make your kids want to make good choices instead of making them shut down like the color system? Well, the good news is I do have a better system, and I'm going to share it with you today. In just a second, you're going to get to see a clip from my course, The Calm Classroom, and it's going to give you an in-depth look at the new system that you're going to want to use this year. I was going to re-record a video just for this free mini course, but I decided I've already created a video with everything you could ever want to know about the star chart, so I'd be smarter to use that and put my time towards creating new content for this mini course. So you got lucky. You get to see a segment from my paid course, The Calm Classroom. This is just a little preview. If you like what you see, you can purchase the whole course and get over 19 strategies and so many tips from me to you. I'll show you exactly how to manage behaviors and create a calm classroom where results are guaranteed. So if you don't love it, you get your money back. Let me help you make this year the best one yet. There's a link in the description if you'd like to learn more about the course. And now here is everything you'd ever want to know about the star chart system. You're going to love it. So the star chart has levels. Whether you make them visual or not, the kids know that they're moving up and they're trying to get to that top color because that's where the superstars are. I've done star charts with 3 different colors to be more dramatic about the levels as they go up, but you don't necessarily need to do that because they can feel the excitement each time they move up. The colors don't really matter. Make it however you want. If you want a theme of greens and blues with your stars and you want to do your whole star chart rainbow felt, go for it. This is totally yours. It doesn't really matter how it looks. So on mine, they move up through the black and they're trying to get to that green. And then we say that when you get to that top, you're in the superstar area. That's when you start earning special privileges. Because when your whole class is behaving like superstars, you are in a happy place. This is when you can bring out the special materials and you can do fun games and special activities that you can't do when they're not behaving. So in one sense, you're trying to motivate the whole class to be superstars, to get up to that top level. But if one kid isn't jumping on the train, the whole class doesn't suffer. That kid just doesn't get the special stuff. And trust me, it's not a shaming thing. You don't have to mention anything to a kid whose star is not up. They know. Resource alert. Here's your star chart template. Okay, so I created this so that you can make your own stars for whatever size star chart that you want to use. So let me go through a little more here. So this is how you make the stars. So you will decide which size fits your chart the best. Then you'll cut it out and put it on the whatever color paper of the stars that you want. So I used the rainbow ones, traced it. After you trace it, then you cut out your different colors and you have all of your nice star shapes. So that is one resource I've created for you, a template for you to pick what kind of star you want and be able to easily make it. And then the next resource is a star chart review game. So this is for your kids to take ownership of the behaviors. This is a simple review game where you just spend a little time going over the specific behavior examples, and it won't take long before your kids can tell you what makes their star go up and what makes their star go down. So this resource explains a super simple game you can play. You just write the behaviors that you want to bring attention to on strips of paper, one behavior example on each paper, and then crinkle them up and throw them in a pile and pick one student to come up. They'll hand it to you, you read it, and the class will tell you whether that's a behavior that makes your star go up or down. You have them all participate by showing a thumbs up or thumbs down, or by pointing up or down. And you want to get them all engaged in the game and try to make it fun. And so after you read the behavior, they vote with their signal, and then you do some quick echo call outs where you have multiple students answer. Does raising our hand make our star go up or down? Alex? And he'll say up. Sam? And he'll say up. Brian? Up. Yes, up. Nice job. We are so smart. So that's just a simple little game that you can play after you introduce the star chart to your students so that they can start taking ownership of the behaviors that they're trying to do to get their star up. So now let's talk about how the star chart works for a second. So in the beginning, the superstar privileges are a big focus of what happens when they get to that top section, because they are this age that they don't have that intrinsic motivation yet. They don't want to do things just because they're supposed to do them, just because it's the right thing to do. They don't have that yet. So it's going to take time for our little kids. If they just don't want to do the work that we're asking them to do, they'll literally just say, I don't want to do that right now. And they didn't get the memo that you should always do what your teacher asks. But really, they're just thinking about themselves. And that's developmentally where they're supposed to be. And they will grow so much during the year that they spend with us. But right now, they don't all just necessarily do what you tell them to do. You have to give them a reason. You have to motivate them. But the good news is, it's not hard to do this. It's super easy and fun to get them excited about what we want them to do when you use the star chart. They will jump on that train so quickly if you invite them the right way. So in the beginning, what happens when my star gets to the top is a big deal for them. But I'm going to show you how to make it easy. And the good news is that it tapers off. So you go big with it in the beginning because you want them to really understand the motivation and get on the path to follow you. Follow me where I'm going, little ones. And then once they come along with you, the magic stuff starts to happen. And you want to make them excited about those superstar privileges. So what exactly are those privileges, you might be wondering? Let's talk about that. So the whole idea is that when you behave, you get to take part in special stuff. What is the special stuff? I used to open my cabinet and show them the special materials that I have. And I would say, I cannot wait to use these as soon as you guys show me that you're ready. Because we have so many fun things in our classroom to use. And the spoiler alert here is that these are not fancy things that you buy as a prize. No. I'm talking about the art materials that you were just already planning to let them use. The trick is that you're going to introduce them with pizzazz. So don't overthink the side of this, the privilege side of this. A superstar privilege can be as simple as getting a high five, choosing your center first, getting to work with a partner, getting to do yoga with your shoes off, getting a smelly spot before we line up, getting to write with markers, getting to write with a pencil that has a feather attached to it, getting to use a tape dispenser today, getting to hang your work in a special place. Another great motivation for superstar privileges are just certain centers. Maybe the most popular centers are the ones that are open to superstars. And that's not trying to keep some kids away from that special center. The goal here is that all the kids are going to step up to be superstars so they can go to that center. And then the magic part is that they are all going to be responsible and make good choices when they go to that center because they're superstars and they're there and they want to be able to keep being there and doing the special stuff. So they get to the special superstar level by being awesome. And then they get to do something cool, some little simple, something special that you introduce with so much enthusiasm that it feels really special. And then they use it the right way, they do it the right way, and they follow the directions just like you say, because they don't want to have to leave there. They've earned it and they're going to do it and they want to do more special stuff. So the whole thing is just a snowball of getting better and better and better. And so as they start earning special privileges, they can be earning real things like jobs that they could help you with. And they are going to do them right because they're so well behaved to earn them, and they're going to step it up and rock whatever the special thing is that you need them to do. If it's a job or like just this system makes all of your students want to be more capable and independent. Look at me. Look what I can do all by myself. Wow, you are so good at that. I am so happy that you can help me with that now. Like they're going to do the things right because they want to do more cool stuff. The emphasis is always on, we have so many fun things to do here at school. I have so many special materials that I bought with my own money just for you guys, and I cannot wait to use them. You want to get the kids excited, and your message should always be, I want all of you to step up so that we can use all of this stuff, glitter and glue and whatever, fancy markers. And again, these can just be normal markers, but you introduce them with pizzazz because they will step up to the challenge for that special privilege. Okay, here's another resource alert. So from your workbook, there's a printable resource for you to help with rewards. So this is one of those times where it would be so easy to get carried away. But I put this page in the workbook to remind you, keep it simple. In the beginning, the first few weeks, superstars just get a smelly spot before they get to pick their centers. And if you don't know what a smelly spot is, just wait, I'll explain that in a little bit. But it all depends on your daily schedule. So we had a morning meeting, morning work, and then centers. So I would be moving stars up in hopes that by center time, all the stars would be up. And I knew it was easy to have the same rewards each day. So superstars got to pick their center first. I'd start at the top left of the superstar chart and ask each kid where they wanted to go and move along, teaching them directionality as well, a little extra teacher move. So just think about your schedule and how to keep it super simple. But I want you to be able to use this sheet so that you have some of my easy examples at the top, but also add in some of the other ideas that you come up with. Don't get caught up in making this too fancy because you got to keep it simple and they will love it no matter what. Okay, as soon as you start moving the stars in the morning right away, you'll feel the momentum shift. You start pointing out the superstars and the snowball of awesomeness keeps growing. Oh, now more kids are raising their hands. Stars are going up and up and up. I move them a few inches at a time, so it takes multiple moves to get to the top. But like with any new system, they have to feel the magic. So right in the beginning, you're on your first days of trying this, you want to be making some dramatic moves. I'd be jumping them pretty far each time, saying, wow, look at you. Allie's star is going up because she's looking right at me. And I can tell she's listening. Her body is so still. And you keep describing in detail the behaviors that you are seeing that are making the stars go up. But let me touch base a second, or let me touch on students with special needs and differentiating to make each child successful. So I know that a lot of my examples of behaviors are some things that some kids can't do, like eye contact or sitting still. But I adjust what I say based on every kid. So if I have a student who doesn't really make eye contact, that's fine. They are going to be working on something else to make their star go up. You make the star chart fit every kid, not the other way around. Because you know what they each need. You're the teacher. You're the one who just looks around the room and immediately knows who's really pushing themselves to their own level of great and who's kind of getting silly, who might need some reminders. So you give general broad feedback that fits most kids most of the time, but you differentiate for each child and you move everyone's star up, even if they're not sitting crisscross, whatever the expectation is for them. When they do whatever their best is, their star goes up. Easy as that. And we can include and support every child easily with this star chart system. Because each child is paying attention to their own star. It's really every man for themselves, which holds them accountable for their own actions in a developmentally appropriate way. But it can also be a group thing. You can say, oh, wow, look, we are all at the top. We're all superstars. This is really something special. And this means that I can get out those new centers. Maybe there's a center you've been wanting to introduce, but you didn't know if they were ready for it. I promise you, once you use this system, your kids will get their stars to the top, and you will be amazed at what happens when you try to introduce a new center to them. It is like just a beautiful thing. They are all going to be super tuned in to the directions, and they're all going to want to help model whatever you show them about this new center. And because they do not want to miss out on it. They aren't going to be the kid who starts misusing materials and doesn't get to do the cool thing anymore. No way. They're all going to step up because they're superstars. And as long as you are super explicit with the directions and you set them up to rock it, they totally will. They are going to step up because they are superstars. And as long as you are super explicit with the directions and you set them up to rock it, they totally will. Because you're going to keep reminding them about all the special things that you have for them to do. And remember, these are just really the normal things that you were going to have them do anyway, but you throw in an extra choice for them, or you introduce the markers in a way that gets them excited. And they don't know they were the same old markers that came with the school supplies, because you're going to introduce them with pizzazz and help them and have them listen. Oh, maybe you're going to have them listen to how the caps snap. Wow, that's a cool trick. Have them all do that. They love learning stuff like that. Can you hold your ear up to the marker when you snap the cap? That is how you know you put the lid on the right way. Like, kids love those kinds of little tricks. They feel cool when they have these little skills like that they can show their family and makes them feel capable. So you're going to talk about how much fun they're going to have as long as they do it right. And they are going to get to use all of these things. Maybe you just sprinkle a little glitter on a writing work after they complete it. Or maybe you get them excited by telling them you're going to hang their work in a special place where everyone can see it. Or maybe you get them excited by telling them that they are going to work with a friend on this activity. That is a big one. There are so many ways to add just a little touch of something special to make their whole perspective change, because it's a big superstar kind of deal. And they are all getting to the top. Once they all get their stars to the top, you get to pause and look back at their star chart and say, I've got a class full of superstar kids. And then if it's one or two kids who want to hold themselves back by misbehaving, then their star would just stay where it's at. And you don't talk about it. Why? Because they know where their star is. I promise you, they know. And hearing you say it will not help them want to move it up. Most kids will jump on the train and work to get their star up. But if you've got a kid who still has their star at the bottom and they're kind of pouting or they seem kind of stuck there, just notice something that they're doing well and point it out. Give them a little nudge upwards. And that's almost always enough to change the momentum for them. Just a little, throw them a little bone, a figurative bone, if you will, just to bring them back to you. So notice something, anything they're doing good, point something out, smile at them, say, I'm glad you're here, whatever, just make a moment to kind of get them unstuck if you feel like they're not doing what you're narrating to try to get everyone else up. If they're not jumping on that train, just give them a little something extra. And that's usually enough to get them moving their star back up. So the only thing that you need to verbalize and mention and point out is the stars that are going up, because that's what we want the emphasis to be on, the positive behaviors. Sometimes just pause and say nothing. Just start moving stars. Sometimes just moving stars up is a far more effective way to bring attention to a behavior than saying it out loud. If you've already said 5 things out loud, just stop, look at your star chart, and just move a few stars without saying anything. And you're going to love how much kids respond to this. They're all going to perk up. Why did she stop talking? Whose star's going up? And as soon as they see their star go up, you can see them crack a smile. And it's like they're thinking to themselves, oh, okay, she sees what I'm doing. She's noticing me. I'm doing great. And the other kids are all looking around to see, whose star was that you just moved? And what are they doing? What are they doing? Okay, where is that kid? What's he doing? And then they're all going to see what that kid's doing. And everybody wins. It's you didn't even have to say anything. And you can create a tidal wave of positive behavior effects that are going to spread. And just, isn't that great? I mean, little changes in the way you're doing it. So you've said 5 of them out loud, different behaviors. Then you pause and they all kind of perk up and you move some stars. It's just another way for them to tune in and see what you're doing to encourage their behaviors. What makes stars go up and down? So we talk about what kind of behaviors are superstar behaviors, and you can change and adjust the behavior specifics based on what you need from your class. So think about specific things that they're doing great that you want to see more of, and think of the things that they need some work on. You make it specific for your kids. Here's just a starting point of some examples from my classroom. So stars go up when you're sitting with your hands to yourself, raising your hand when you have something to say, looking at the person that's talking. Your body is still. You're focused on the speaker. Your stars go down when, dun, 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 I'm leaving this up to you to decide. I want to be very clear and very thoughtful about how we move stars down. This is not like the color stick or color cards. You're not looking around the room trying to move stars down. You're not trying to move as many stars down as you move up, not even close. In fact, stars rarely go down. Simply leaving them where they are instead of advancing them up further is actually more effective than moving them down. So let me say that again. It's better to just leave a star where it is instead of moving it down, because just not moving it up is a message that you're sending to that kid, and they know where their star is. So that's a better option. But if their star is all the way up in the superstar area, you might have to do something else. So if you see a child talking to their neighbor when you're talking, instead of moving their star down right away, make eye contact with them. Let them know you see what they're doing. And then move another child's star up who's sitting quietly, and use that child as an example to cue the child who's off task. And then hopefully they get quiet and you can look back at them and acknowledge their good choice and move their star up too. But we are all about moving stars up, not down. Absolutely up, 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 not down. You want to keep the option to move a star down
in your back pocket per se. You don't want to resort to using this much because it's not the best way to change a child's behavior. However, sometimes there comes a time when you might feel it's the right move to move a star down, especially if they're at the top, at the superstar level. You can't leave them there if they're clearly not stepping up to do whatever it means to be a superstar. So for example, if you are trying to prompt a child, maybe they're playing too rough in their center, and you give them a warning and then let them know you can stay in your center as long as you keep your hands to yourself. Make a good choice. I'll be watching for it. And they keep doing whatever they were doing. Depending on the child, and this is all your call, you know your kids. Depending on the child, you might need to follow through by going over to the star chart and moving it down just a smidge. But this is not a public thing. You're not trying to shame them. I would literally go right up to that kid and have a chat like in a whisper so they know this is me and you talking. This is not about the other kids staring and wondering what's going on. This is not about getting everyone's attention. There's no show to see here. But you whisper to them, ask them to pick a new center, and let them know you'll be watching for them to make better choices. And get that star back up right now. I know you can do it. And then watch, because the goal is for them to get their star back up right away. If you had to move a star down, the purpose was not to leave it there. If you had to move it down, you're not trying to move it down to leave it there. The purpose of moving it down a smidge was to initiate a change in behavior. And the most effective way to change their behavior is the positive approach, by moving their star up whenever you see an opportunity to do so. We always want to catch them doing right, not wrong. But having said that, when a child has their star at the top and they're clearly making a bad choice, you have the option to move them down a smidge, because it doesn't make sense for them to stay in the superstar area if they're not earning that privilege. Whatever rules you're big on, whatever problem behaviors you see pop up, this is where you add those to the discussion. It's helpful to talk about behaviors that make your star go up and down, and make sure kids know what to do and what not to do. But that doesn't mean that you need to point out kids who are doing those behaviors when we're talking about the things that we don't want them to do. As long as they understand that their star won't go up, it will be up to them to make the right choice or make the change to get their star going up. Again, unless they're at the top, which means, in which case you might want to slide it down a smidge under that superstar line. But then you look back hoping for them to change it right away. And that should be the case most of the time. You're not moving a star down out of frustration or anger. You need to be totally in control of your emotion when you're moving a star down, because you're doing it from a place of love. You're trying to support this child, but you don't do it because you're annoyed with something a child did and they can feel that intensity coming off and you're just, oh, well, I gotta move it down. Not at all. The idea we want kids to understand is it's never a big deal. That's not where the emphasis is. We don't want kids to get stuck on the idea that their star went down. We want to explicitly teach them, if your star goes down, no problem. You can fix it right away. You just stop, take a second to think, check yourself out, figure out what you need to change, do it right away, and your star will go back up. Make sure you make this very clear and repeat it over and over again to them so that they can all explain to you, if your star goes down, do we pout? No way. If your star goes down, do we get sad? Nope. What do? We fix it. We just fix it. Then they know they can fix it right away, and it helps to feel like they have some control, and that will keep them from shutting down. It's not like the stick or the color card where you flip it to red or move the clip down and it's supposed to stay there to let the child feel the burn. No. This should be looked at simply as a tool. This is not a punishment to get upset about. This is something we use to show you Hey, that wasn't what we want right now. Your star is moving to show you that you need to make a change. And as soon as the change is made, we're all moving on together. This isn't meant to be a place where you get stuck or to hurt feelings. Not at all. I hope it's making sense. As you observe the way your kids respond to the chart, you will know what's best for them. So don't overthink it. You're going to know what to do and how to make it work the best for your kids. I promise you're going to love it, and your kids are too.